explain to me why Robert Downey Jr. can't pull this off. You can't. Do you think this is lazy at all?
I think it's a masterful chess piece move. Because you got somebody who's dynamic, and I think out of the options, he was the better of whatever the cast lineup is today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've heard people like Cillian Murphy. I don't know if that's how you say his name or not.
The skinny dude?
Yeah, skinny dude. I've heard that. I've heard Adam Driver, who plays, like, come on.
No.
Kylo Ren. So I've heard some ridiculous stuff. All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
What up? Good morning.
What's up, dude?
I don't even know what's going on, man. So much rain, dude. I'm going to start building an ark in my backyard.
Yo, yeah, we got some damn rain on Friday. Holy shit, dude.
On Friday, all this week, dude.
Yeah.
I think there's only been one day this week that we didn't get rain.
Yep, no doubt. But anyways, it's nice and hot and dry today. So here we are. We're back at it. Got a lot of stuff going on. Comics. Disney had their D23 this past week, so a big part of that. It's like their Comic-Con type deal, but just straight Disney stuff.
Okay.
So they announced a bunch of Disney movies, some Pixar. I think Incredibles 3 is coming out, a live-action Lilo and Stitch, handful of shit. But they showed some footage of the Red Hulk from the new Captain America movie. Right. Actually looks pretty cool. Yeah. Red Hulk is big as shit. So
nice. They're listening. Yeah, they're listening,
dude. Right. Yeah, they got to get it right, dude, you know? But there was a scene where he's in front of the White House, and Harrison Ford, Thunderbolt Ross, transforms into Red Hulk right in front of the White House, in front of the podium. So shit's going down in this movie.
Nice.
I'm actually, dude, I'm probably on the other side of it now. I think when we first heard about this movie, I was not feeling it.
Yeah.
But the stuff I see now they did go through massive reshoots, so I'm sure that helped out. But
well, they also listen to us. I mean,
they
probably increased the size of the Red Hulk a couple of times. You know, make it respectful.
Yes, exactly. I mean, as they should.
Right.
They should just tune in here, and I mean,
that's it.
If you guys want to just call me up, we don't have to play this game of like wait to see what we say on the show. Just reach out, dude. We'll help you out.
You don't have to pretend not to watch Only Comics.
Exactly.
Just call.
Exactly. So, anyways, hopping into some news and rumors, Adrian. Got some stuff going on this week. A lot of Deadpool Wolverine still. It's dumb. I think it's at $1 billion now.
Okay.
And we're only 2-3 weeks in. So,
wow.
Yeah, insane. But Shawn Levy is talking. He's doing some interviews, and they asked him about a potential director's cut. You know, it's kind of like the new fad now, right? You make a movie, it's shitty, so then you go, you know what? My cut's better,
right?
Zack Snyder, and then you put that one out, and you're like, yeah, it's maybe a little better, but still, like, no one cares,
right? And then let's make a black and white of this shitty cut, right?
Exactly. There's that, you know. So the good news, though, see, Shawn Levy gets it. He figured, why not just make the good movie and put that one out in the theaters?
Right.
So he said, no, there's going to be no extended cut because the cut that we saw was the cut they wanted to make. So I like that.
I agree.
You know, and then they asked them, they said there'll be a small handful of deleted scenes, which will be included, and then some commentary by Ryan and a really cool gag reel when the movie's eventually released. So I like that, dude.
Cool.
You know, and again, the movie was good enough. Like, you don't need, I think that's also like, I think it's kind of cheap, right? You work on this movie, you work with the studio, you guys have this vision everyone agrees to. You put the movie out, then it is shitty, then you're like, no, that was what the studio wanted me to do.
Right.
Well, dude, you made the fucking movie.
Right. A movie isn't a chair. You know, you make a chair, it's a little wobbly, so you make version 2. Then you make 3. You know, it's a little safety, a little aesthetics, but no, a movie is not like that at all. You make the movie, release it, and move on.
That's it.
And you know what? Another release is called? Another movie.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, speaking of another movie, there's a couple Avengers movies were announced a few weeks ago, right? You got Avengers Doomsday, which, replaces Avengers Kang Dynasty.
Right.
We saw Jonathan Majors last week. TMZ hunted him down and, got a little statement from him. And Kevin Feige's doing a lot of interviews right now coming off of Comic-Con and D23. And someone asked him about Kang Dynasty and Jonathan Majors, and this was his response. He says, do you know I've done a number of interviews in the last couple of days, and you're the first person to, and he stops, I give you credit for just outright asking the question, and I'll give myself credit for trying to evade it and avoid it entirely. So he does not answer. And I think their exact question was if Kang will continue to show or will Kang show back up in any of these movies, and he just straight up avoided that, which, you know, I mean, I get it from, like, it's kind of what you expect from Marvel, Disney, right? But I do think it's unfortunate, and I understand moving away from Kang as the main villain, but I'm still on that, you know, that campaign of bring Jonathan Majors back and just have him play Kang, an additional character in one of these movies. Mm-hmm. You got Secret Wars. There's going to be probably 500 characters in this.
Right.
Just let him slide in there. You don't have to make the whole focus about him.
At this point, I'm kind of over it.
Yeah.
It's there weren't like in production. There were no scripts that I'm aware of, which is not saying much, but you know, it's not like the Flash movie with Murderous Boy. It wasn't this thing that was, you know, the train had already left the station kind of a situation.
Right.
An event happened. They made a decision about the actor and the character. They replaced them. Who they replaced it with, I think is awesome. Doom.
Yep.
The actor that they replaced, that they having act as Doom, awesome. Mm-hmm. RDJ. So that's where we are.
Yeah.
And I would have avoided the question too, because then it opens him up to all kinds of other shit. Right. It's like, I don't want to answer these questions, dude. Yeah. Just let's move on.
Yeah, it's kind of that whole you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? You don't answer. It's like, well, hey, give us the fucking answer. Then you do, and it opens up another can of worms. Exactly. I hear that. Exactly. And
then a year later, you back in fucking August 24, you said this about, dude, just shut up. Move.
Right.
Go on.
Right. But I'm still trying, Adrian. I'm pushing for my man. I want to see him show up.
Absolutely. I agree. You know,
but I mean, again, do it as, like, I understand they're not going to go forward with him being the main focus. That was the kind of plan, you know, whatever, a couple years ago. But just let him show up as a cameo, because Kang is not a huge part of Secret Wars, but he's a decent enough sideline character. I mean, obviously Doom is the focus.
Right.
So if he just were to pop up to play his, you know, side character role as he plays in the story, I think everyone would be cool with that.
I mean, if you're pushing Majors in a comic movie, I mean, you can bring him up as something else, you know, push that two character rule, and then, you know, we all move on. So
right.
You know.
Right. Speaking of moving on, move on to the next piece of news. So Kraven the Hunter. It's a movie that we saw one trailer for earlier in the year.
Right.
Thought it looked pretty good, right? Story sounds all right. Got my man, what's his name? Aaron Taylor Johnson. He's all jacked up on the Hugh Jackman workout for this movie.
Right.
You know, now I guess part of this is good and part of this is bad. I think it's been pushed back again. So right now, and that may be old news to some of y'all. Studio has moved Kraven to a prime winter spot of December 13th. So, yeah, back August 30th, they pushed it back. Originally, it was supposed to come out in October. So, pushing it back. Now, that may be a good thing. Maybe it means they're going to, you know, kind of like the Captain America movie. They went and did a bunch of reshoots, and now the footage and stuff everyone's seeing looks a lot better. So, maybe this could be a good thing. Okay. But the thing that I'm excited about with this is it has an official rating. It's going to be a rated R movie. Okay. So, I think that's one of the things we said when we first saw this. Like, dude, you can't do Kraven PG. Like, my man's a hunter. Like, like legit killing motherfuckers. Like,
I mean, it looks like the premise is he gets set up by being attacked by a lion.
Right.
So that in and of itself is rated R.
Yeah, unless it's the Lion King. You really can't do that in something that's not PG-13.
Simba on a tree.
Which they're having a prequel called Mufasa of the live-action Lion King for some reason. Who's asking for that, dude?
You know, there's so much stuff out there. Come on, let's just move on.
Right.
That's today's thing. Let's just move on.
Yep. Now, another piece of news here is that there will be no Spider-Man connection, allegedly. So they asked Jeff Gomez, he's an executive producer at Starlight, worked on Sony on Spider-Man Homecoming, and he said they've talked about it before and it didn't work out about connecting these movies for some reason.
Spider-Man and Kraven?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Another Madam Web.
Exactly.
We just hope it's at least more entertaining.
Right. And that's the thing. I think with this, they could make a good standalone movie.
Sure.
You know, hopefully. They could. They had their shot with Venom twice already, and they haven't. So, but I do think that the Kraven story is probably of all these, you know, standalone Spider-Man movies, I think this one could live on its own. being that it's an origin story. I hope that eventually this character meets Spider-Man.
Sure,
you know,
sure.
Channing Tatum, Adrian,
the neck.
The neck. You know, I see pictures every day of his Gambit portrayal. Now I will say that I think we kind of glossed over some of this because we were so distracted by the size of his head.
Right.
But the costume, dude, is phenomenal. The more I see it in photos, like they really nailed that comic accurate suit. You know,
it was a little glowing. It was like Tron, watching Tron from the 80s.
It was a little shiny, a little extra shiny. But I mean, just it's cool to just forget about the actor, but it's cool to be in a place now where we can see these live action costumes look comic accurate. Because if you remember, and I actually have to blame you for this, Adrian. You're a big Matrix fan, right?
Yeah.
So the original X-Men movie, I don't remember if I said this here last week or not. If I did, then just you can skip past this part. But
or just bear with us.
Yeah, exactly. Or just shut up and watch it again. Fuck. Jesus. When they started working on the original X-Men movies, Fox Studios said that, or the studio executive said, we should make the suits black leather because The Matrix came out around that time. I think Matrix was, 99 possibly?
Something like that.
X-Men was 2000. Matrix did really well. So they said, let's make the costumes black leather like The Matrix because that's, it worked in The Matrix. Like, not understanding that that's not why The Matrix did well.
Right.
It wasn't the black leather.
Wow.
That's how stupid fucking studio execs can be, in certain things. But so that's why the original X-Men movies all had those black leather biker costumes.
Interesting to know.
Yeah. See that you learn stuff here on Only Comics, dude. I will tell you though, we're not experts, Adrian.
Right.
You're still not an expert, right?
Could be wrong.
We could be wrong. Yeah, maybe that's completely wrong. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I just made that up. Only way to tell is you can fact check. You've actually suggested that they fact check our shit before.
What actually happened was that the producers were a Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman fan. So that's where the black came from.
Yeah. That makes sense. You know what?
Whatever.
You'll flip a coin. But Gambit, Channing Tatum, they asked him about the Gambit, character. And if you don't know, the whole reason he was even featured in this movie was there was a Gambit movie rumored for years of Channing Tatum playing him. He was a fan cast type of deal, and it was supposedly in the works, and then it all fell through. So it was one of those, like, the one we never got to see, if you will.
How long ago was that?
Dude, that had to have been probably 2010s, maybe even before that.
So 14 years or so
probably,
ago,
yeah.
When his head and neck were smaller?
Exactly, yep. Yeah, it was definitely.
Exactly.
Yep, it was definitely skinny neck Channing. But they asked him, and now Ryan Reynolds, I think he posted a nice little tribute to Channing, about playing this character, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, he said, I thought I had lost Gambit forever. And then he said that Ryan fought for me in Gambit, probably owe him forever. But the thing that they asked him about, doing a movie, and he said that I'm so grateful to be in the movie. It's a masterpiece. And then he went on to say that he was praying for a Gambit movie right now. So I'm not going to say I'm going to go home and pray on this, but if I was, Adrian, I would pray that we don't get a Gambit movie with Channing Tatum.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I think it's cool from, seeing what he thought he was going to make this movie. It was always something that he was passionate about and never did, but having Ryan Reynolds kind of help get him into this movie as Gambit, I think that's cool.
Yeah. I'm not sure if a Gambit movie would be successful.
Yeah.
I don't think he's at that level where he could support himself
right
in a movie, or the movie would hold its own by itself. I'm up in the air about that. I've grown to like the character since X-Men 97, but I don't think that he's strong enough to hold his own.
Or also, why do we need one? Like, he's always the big part of Gambit is he's an X-Men.
Right. A team player.
Yeah.
Right.
Why not just make a proper X-Men movie and have Gambit be a important character like we saw in X-Men 97?
There you go.
Yeah, I would push more for that. So I know y'all, I would say but I know y'all are listening. Right. Don't do that, dude. Just make an X-Men movie and make Gambit, a integral part of the team, if you will.
Right.
Speaking of Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man, Venom: The Last Dance reshoots are happening right now, And this is, the last dance, supposedly the last time Tom Hardy's going to play Venom, at least in these standalone movies.
Yay.
Yeah, right? Don't be so excited, Adrian. Now, the Venom movies, I think we've said this before, they're like badly entertaining. Like, they're not hard. They're not Madam Web, They're not great, but I think, I really like the way the Venom character looks on screen. I think they did a good job of bringing that to life.
Sure.
I like the Venom voice. I don't like Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock at all. It's silly. I don't get it. The story, it's still weird seeing this character without Spider-Man on screen. But that potentially could change in this movie. So the reshoots, the interesting part about the reshoots is that they're taking place in New York City. Okay. Who's from New York City, Adrian?
I don't know. Uncle Ben?
Uncle Ben's there, yeah. His nephew, though. Have you ever heard of his nephew?
Well, his coffin is there.
His tombstone's there. But, our friend Peter Parker is a resident of New York City. So, and the Venom movies take place in San Francisco. So for him to be in New York City, what's he doing there, So I guess we'll find out.
Spooning with Aunt May.
Maybe he's trying to track down MJ. So now, if you had to make a prediction, Adrian, do you think what are the chances? Are you a betting man?
No.
Okay.
Well, I'm a bet man. I'm not a gambling man.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Okay. Now let's so you're a betting man. What do you think the chances are that we see a Peter Parker / Spider-Man show up in Venom 3? None, really? You don't think it's happening?
Nah.
Okay. Well, we'll soundbite this, and then, in a year when this comes out.
Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to hear a twerp or, you might see like a moving shadow in a place where a regular person wouldn't be, or you might hear the sound of his web shooters going off or something like that. I don't think
so. You think there could be a tease? But
sure.
Okay. I'm going to go... I'm 50-50, and I know it's like a safe, probably easy way.
Right.
Switzerland over here.
That's like saying, I don't know.
Now, you know what? I'll go 70%. I think there's a 70% chance that Spider-Man shows up.
Hey, put some balls in it.
Yeah. So, it would be cool, but I'm interested to see what the hell Venom's doing in New York City if it's not to find Spider-Man.
But why would they change after Madam Web, after Morbius, after 2 Venom movies coming up on 3? Why would they now introduce this?
I got a couple answers for you. One is they've been watching us and they realize how fucking stupid they are. That could be one.
Okay.
The other could be I don't know. I think that's probably the only one.
Oh, okay.
We'll just go with that. Yeah, we'll just go with that. But it's also supposedly the last Venom movie. So, I'm sorry. Here's another reason. They did tease this in the post-credit scene in, I think, No Way Home, when they show Eddie Brock. He's at that bar in Mexico, and he's watching. Right. But now he's in Earth 616 because of the whole multiverse shit from No Way Home.
Right.
And he sees Spider-Man on the screen in New York, and they make some type of comment of like, we're gonna go there. Yeah. So maybe they are gonna, connect that loose end, or maybe not. So okay. Those are my 2 answers. They're watching us, and they want to stop being stupid. Which you can stop being stupid. That's the thing about being stupid. You can stop at any time.
Sure.
You can quit cold turkey. It's like smoking cigarettes.
Just like you can change your mind.
Yeah, there you go.
Or be wrong.
Right. You may come next week and be like, I know 100% that Spider-Man's going to be in that movie. And I won't even bat an eye, Adrian.
And because you know why?
What?
Because they aren't real.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter, dude.
It doesn't matter. Next up, Kevin Feige's talking about DC. So, did you know there's another movie studio, DC Studios? You ever heard of them? No. Okay. Well, they're working on some stuff. They're cooking, So James Gunn, he's the guy in charge there. His Superman movie. I think they wrapped filming that Superman Legacy movie, so we should hear or see something from that soon. We saw the costume. You weren't a huge fan of it, right?
Looked a little baggy.
Yeah, it did look a little baggy.
And the fact that he was down messing with his boot or shoe or whatever reminds me of like the old sneakers that you pumped up.
Yep.
So it looks like he was going to pump his suit up.
Yeah.
While a meteor was going to crash into something in the background.
He'll get around to it in a second, dude.
Yeah. I mean, he's like super fast.
Yeah,
right?
what happened to
Doesn't
faster
take-
than a speeding bullet?
Right.
What happened to
I
that?
think you need to be faster than a bullet for that one, but I'm sure he'll get to it.
Right. Yeah, when it gets around to it. But I like the suit. I did think it looked baggy. I like the colors. I like how it popped. You know, I'm kind of tired of the, you know, looks like Superman got dressed in the dark or he's still in the dark for some reason.
So you don't like the matte look. You like the shiny.
No, this one kind of looks more. I would say Henry Cavill's had a little shinier, you know, a little gloss to it, which I didn't like. Yeah, so I like the way this looks outside of it being baggy.
Maybe a satin.
Yeah,
which is kind of in between.
Okay,
we'll
go with that.
Yeah.
So they asked Kevin Feige about it, and he said that I've seen the paparazzi shots, and I'm sure everyone else has, and it looks great to me. James is the best. And then they kind of asked him about like the whole Marvel DC, you know, competition or whatever, the debate among fans. And he said, you know, number one, I want to see great movies. And number two, I want there to be great movies in theaters for audience to go. Basically like wishing them success because like there's plenty of room for it, right? You know, he mentioned there's so many great movies. Twisters came out, and that's overperforming, which I heard that's actually pretty good. Twisters. I'm a big fan of the old Twister movie.
Oh, you mean that actual movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yep. I'm definitely a big fan of that. I watch that movie probably once a year, dude.
Oh, yeah. Dude, we just watched it a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So, you know, he talks about the competition, and he says that a lot of people don't even know the difference. He goes, someone just said to me, congrats on Blue Beetle. And he said he just laughed. People don't know. So, to his point, like, dude, there's plenty of room for it. And this whole competition thing, I mean, we talk about it, diehard fans, but the average moviegoer doesn't think about that.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I got a silly question for you. Right?
All right.
So, you know, remember the whole East Coast, West Coast rap battle thing?
Yep.
So, East Coast, West Coast, which would be which? DC would be East or West. Marvel would be East or West.
Damn. That's tough, dude. That is tough. I hate to say this, but I think Marvel would be both because DC is so. Yeah,
DC is Canada.
There you go. Yeah, DC was the Canada hip hop scene in the '90s, which was like non-existent outside of Snow. Remember Snow, Informer?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was from Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's that. So that's DC.
I just got that. That only thing I can remember is Informer out of the whole song.
Yep.
And that one song, right? That was all he had?
Yep. He had a couple albums, but yeah, there was nothing to.
He had albums?
Oh, yeah. He had two albums. Okay. Yeah. So.
I would say Marvel would be West Coast.
Okay. Yeah. I just saying DC right now.
That's only by elimination.
Yeah.
DC would still be Canada, but I mean, I would say Marvel is West Coast.
Yeah.
And by default, of course, you know, DC would be East Coast, but that's how I pocket them.
I like that. Well, you guys let us know what you think. Who would Marvel be? Who would DC be? Rebel Moon. So I've not seen these movies. Have you?
I didn't get past attempted rape and slaughter in the first movie, which that happened, I think, probably in the first 20 minutes of the first movie. So I didn't get beyond that.
Okay. Now, we talked about Rotten Tomatoes scores last week. I broke that all down on how they're created, and now I realize that I respect them even less. But now I'm more interested to see movies where there's a disparity between the audience and critics. So we have a segment in a minute, Adrian. We're going to look at some more scores. But so Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, this is a movie that I think, at least the rumor I heard about it was Snyder was supposed to be directing some Star Wars movies, then those fell through. And he kind of repurposed those plots for these movies. Now, I don't know, when you saw them, did you get a kind of Star Wars feel? Or?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
There's definitely Star Wars vibes all over.
Got it. So there's two of them out. Chapter 1, Chalice of Blood, hence the whole rape thing that you talked or attempted. Rebel Moon, Chapter 2, Curse of Forgiveness. Now, believe it or not, Adrian, they just released director's cuts of these two movies.
Of course they did.
Now, here's the best part. So, the Rotten Tomatoes scores for the first movie was 22%, and then when they released the director's cut, that moved up to 29%. So barely any move. Now, the second one went from 17%, so that's almost Madam Web level,
right,
to 40%. So slight improvement, but it's
what was Madam Web, like 11 or something?
Yeah. Yeah, I got that memorized now, like 11%, dude. It's that bad.
That's crazy.
Yes. But, dude, but this is like the point. Like, dude, the movie, a lot based off these reviews, not a good movie. Mm-hmm. Why do we then need to see a director's cut?
Right.
A slightly better version of a shitty movie.
Right. I think there should be like a minimum level. It's like, passing high school.
Yeah.
That's 70. You should have at least for a director's cut, you should probably have at least a B.
Yeah.
86 back in my day. I don't know what a B is today, but 86.
There's no grade stage. Everyone just passes.
Oh, okay.
You know how it is.
But it's interesting that everybody just passes, but no, everybody graduates.
Yes.
Let's graduate from the 3rd grade. Let's graduate from the 5th grade. Let's graduate from the 6th grade.
Right.
If it's the 7th, 8th, 9th, dude, schools are racking up.
Oh my God.
To not have money to give to teachers.
Correct. Yep. Dude, they had caps and gowns at it was like a 5th grade graduation. Like, huh?
Right.
Caps and gowns. You're going to the school right down the road. Like
right. From the 5th to the 6th, we didn't graduate. We just moved from the 5th to the 6th grade.
The best is kindergarten, bro. You've been in school 1 year. But anyway. So
that's the other stuff.
Yeah. So actually, good reminder. This is only comics. This is where we discuss comics and only comics,
and apparently some other stuff.
Sometimes, but this is what's not other stuff is the news and rumors, and we're gonna go through a little thumbs up or down. Adrian, you ready?
Let's do it.
So number one, Shawn Levy says no director's cut for Deadpool and Wolverine. Is going to be a handful of deleted scenes and a good old gag reel. I'm giving that a thumbs up.
Thumbs up, even though, wait a minute, what movie are you talking about?
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, okay. Even though that was an A+ movie.
Yes.
Right? Well above the B+ that we needed for a director's cut, but I agree.
Yeah, we don't need it. It was perfect. We don't need it.
Yep.
Way it was. Number two, Kevin Feige dances around the Kang question, which I think solidifies the fact that my man's not coming back, dude.
Right.
So, you know what? I'm giving this thumbs down.
I'm going to give a thumbs up because he dodged it. Not only did he dodge answering the question, he just put that thing in the grave.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it was a good answer. I will give him that. Yeah. I'm giving thumbs down because I want to see my man back, dude.
Right.
Fuck. But anyway.
I think that response was as good of a response as what Jonathan Majors did to the TMZ paparazzi.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Kraven the Hunter confirmed to be R-rated. This movie drops December 13th of this year. I'm giving that a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Channing Tatum is praying for a Gambit solo movie. Nope, thumbs down.
Thumbs down, dude. Neck and all.
Yeah. Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock in New York City filming scenes for Venom 3. Give that a thumbs up.
Thumbs down because I don't care where he shows up.
Okay. Kevin Feige's in the news a lot this week. He's a busy guy, you know.
Yeah, hey.
Now, maybe I'll say this on agree to disagree, but I think that, if I was judging hat games, I'd say me and you have a better hat game than Kevin Feige. I'm just saying. So, I'll ask you later. We'll see how you feel about it. Kevin Feige says he likes the look of the new Superman, and he kind of invites competition with DC and really kind of, raises his glass to James Gunn in the DC. I'll give that a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. He's been professional.
Yeah. Yep. Even though he knows they're kicking his shit. Like, that's the thing. What's he going to say? Those guys suck. Like, it's like, keep making your little movies, dude.
There you go.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, keep making your movies exactly the way you make your movies. Right. And I'll keep killing it.
Right. What's funny is, I think this part is hilarious to me. The whole Blue Beetle statement he made where someone congratulated him on Blue Beetle. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. DC movies have been so bad. Blue Beetle was actually pretty good. Right. So the fans thought, there's no way DC could have made this. Right. This had to have been Marvel. Right. But anyways, and then last piece of news, Rebel Moon's director's cuts barely raised the Rotten Tomatoes scores for these two movies. I give this thumbs down, dude. Stop. Just stop.
Are we talking about the news or the understanding that is still shit?
Yeah, that one.
Well, thumbs up because it verifies that it's still shit. So right. I mean, the score is the score. You know?
Like that perspective, Adrian. Well, guys, like this. Let us know if you agree or not, which ones you do. But be clear. Someone in the comments was like, I'm here talking shit in the comments, and you don't give a fuck. But yeah, you're 100% right. I don't, but I appreciate all the interaction.
There you go. Hey, speaking about in the news, you know what's not in the news?
What's that?
What is this, August now?
Yeah.
Was somebody talking about Spawn?
Oh, dude. No, actually, I did hear a few weeks ago, I forget where I read it, but They do have a release date and a title.
Okay.
Yeah, King Spawn's the title.
Okay.
And I forget when the release date is, but it does look like Blumhouse is actually moving forward with it. So,
okay.
Todd McFarlane does not have to fund this with his own money. So
nice.
Yeah. Now that's all I've heard is they have a script and a name. I don't know. In the past, Jamie Foxx was rumored to play, Spawn.
Right.
I don't know. I'm sure he can still pull it off.
So, how big of a rumor is this? Because McFarlane could just have said that himself on a tweet, to kind of generate some interest.
Correct.
Not necessarily that it's an actual thing that's in motion.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, no, it was like an interview and someone else, but yeah, to your point, I don't think he said anything about it, which probably should have. All right, we got a new segment that's back, Adrian. It's called "What the Fuck, Rotten Tomatoes." I just got that name right now. Maybe maybe you guys can suggest a better name. That's just what I came up with on my way in last week, and I figured it stuck. But this is where we're gonna look at Rotten Tomatoes scores and really just let you know if we agree more with the critics or the audience.
Okay.
And then we did this last week, and it seemed like the audience. We kind of lean more towards their scores, if you will, right? Saw some comments on TikTok. A couple people were like, man, I lean more towards the critics. Like, that's cool. But we'll see what happens this week. There's a theme this week, Adrian. It's in honor of my man Zack Snyder coming out with director's cuts that barely move the scores. I figured we would look at his movies this week. Okay. So, number 1, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Critics gave this a 71. Audience gave it a 93. I would lean towards the critics on this one.
I would lean toward the critics.
Yeah. Like, again, people think we hate this movie. I didn't hate it. I just think it's not a fucking 93.
Oh, it's definitely not a 93. It's somewhere above wherever the Eternals was.
Now, the critics say 71. You think that's high or you think that's pretty accurate?
I think that's pretty accurate.
I do, too.
Yeah, it wasn't a shit movie.
No. It was entertaining at times.
But, yeah.
It looked cool. It just was. Now, I know we joke about how long this movie is. Dude, it's 4 minutes and 2 seconds long. 4 hours. Sorry, not 4 minutes.
4 hours.
4 hours, dude. That's crazy.
That's a long movie, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2.5 hours is long if it's not good, But even when it's a good movie, I think about like 3 hours is probably my limit.
Yeah.
I lean towards the critics on that one. Batman vs. Superman. Critics gave it a 29%. Audience gave it a 63%.
Audience.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's pretty accurate, 63.
Yeah.
Again,
29?
Yeah, that's bad, dude.
That's bad, man.
What's sad is there was a point, and I don't know when, what year this was in comparison to when this movie came out, but when we went through the history last week, there was a point in time when Warner Brothers owned Rotten Tomatoes. So you own this shit and you're giving it a 29, but...
Well, they're supposed to be a panel of independent movie critics, and it's probably submitted anonymously to some degree. In other words, separation of church and state.
Right.
The executives don't have control over what the people that they're paying them says. But anyway, who knows?
Another thing I wonder is, the way these scores, we talked about it last week, where curators will go find all these reviews, and then based off the reviews they find, how many are positive. That's where, what the percentage of positive reviews are dictates the score.
Right.
Now, what's to say that some of these curators don't have a bias and maybe they go find more negative reviews? You know what I mean?
Exactly. I know exactly what you're saying. Yep.
Could easily happen with the amount of critics out there that review movies. Right. You could easily leave out a good percentage of good reviews if you want to sway it, or vice versa. Oh, let me ignore these bad reviews to give this thing a higher score. So. Right. But yeah, Batman vs. Superman, I have a lot of issues with that movie. We've talked about that before, the whole Martha bullshit, Batman trying to kill everyone. Batman thinks he's Punisher in this movie for some reason. Yeah. But 63, I didn't hate the movie. There were some parts of it that were, enjoyable. I think that's accurate. 29's a little harsh, dude.
Yeah.
Next up, 300. Critics gave it a 61, audience 89.
I agree. Audience.
I agree, audience all day. It was a great movie.
Yep.
Watchmen, critics gave it a 65, audience gave it a 71. I think they both are a little high, dude. I'm not a fan of Watchmen. Did you like that movie?
I would go with like the 60s.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say the critics.
Yeah. I think they're
But to answer your question, it was not like damn, this movie sucks.
Yeah, okay.
Or something upset because I had never seen I had no expectations. So I had nothing to compare it to.
Got it.
So I mean, it was mildly entertaining.
Okay. So you lean towards the critics on that one.
Yeah,
So far we're 3 critics and 1 audience. Next up, Man of Steel. Critics gave it a 56. Audience gave it a 75.
Audience.
Yeah, I agree. So this week pretty much split almost down the middle. There's 5, so it can't be split down the middle. But we had 2 that we agreed with the audience, and 3 we agreed with the critics. So guys, let us know who you agree with. And you know, it's interesting to see how different audience and critics are with certain movies. And I think, we talked about it last week where I do think that, and you brought this up, like critics see so many movies.
Right.
You're almost like desensitized to it, right? Like it's got to be something really kind of knock it out of the park for you to give it a high rating,
I mean, gunfire in a neighborhood is generally bad.
Yes.
But when you hear so much of it, you just turn the TV up.
Right.
As you're, slowly sliding down the couch.
Correct.
You're probably a little
You're like,
desensitized.
oh, it's just 3 o'clock. This is what happens around here at this time.
So, whatever.
All right. Well, moving on. Guys, hit the subscribe button if you've not already. Like this. Let us know how you feel about What the Fuck Rotten Tomatoes. And, someone suggested in the comments that there should be an only comics meter for rating movies. We should come up with our own scoring system. So, that's an idea. I mean, it'd be more accurate.
Is bullshit-o-nometer already taken?
I don't think so. We can use that. So, moving on. Hit or miss cast, Adrian. This is where I throw a handful of casting choices from the past at you, and you simply let me know if you think it was a hit or not.
I like this one.
Hit or miss. You like this one?
I like this one.
A lot of people do too. But then you also get, and I think I want to call these people like social media lawyers, maybe. Like they try to defend like the act, like they did with the Gambit thing. Well, it's because of this, or this is why bro. I'm just saying I didn't like it. You don't have to fuck. We're not in litigation. You don't have to defend it's because of the studio got involved in the bro. I don't care. I just didn't like it.
Why don't you like water? Because whatever.
Like, I don't like bananas. You know this. I've said this before, right?
Right.
It doesn't bother you, right? It doesn't piss you off.
Or candy cane.
There you go. Yeah, or candy corns. Yeah.
Or that.
You're not going, you should try candy corns, the best thing ever. It's like, whatever, dude. I just know that, if you're going to pick up candy for everyone, you're not going to get me candy corn, right? And if I'm bringing in a fruit salad, Adrian, there's going to be no bananas there, okay?
That's it.
So it's just, it is what it is,
It is what it is.
So, but my point is, these are Adrian's opinions, so he can't be wrong, okay? You could say I disagree.
Sure.
But he can't be wrong about it. Wrong, he was a great... What do you mean wrong? It's my opinion.
And it's my opinion until I possibly change my mind to something else,
I could ask you about one in the past. You may go, no, that one was a hit. Like, dude, but you said it was a miss. Yeah, well, today I feel like it's a hit.
Yep, that's it.
So that's how we do it. There's not a lot of rules here on Only Comics Age, and we keep it loose, okay? We're rule fluid, as they say nowadays.
I like that. Rule fluid.
Yes. All right, you ready?
Ready.
Number 1, Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Oh, hit, dude.
Yep, that's out of the park, dude.
Yep.
Paul Rudd is Ant-Man, Scott Lang.
All right, that's a hit too.
Yeah. Tom Hardy is Eddie Brock.
Bad and bad.
Topher Grace is Eddie Brock.
Who the hell is that?
From the Spider-Man 3 movie, the original Venom.
Don't recall.
Okay. So here's what we do. I'll step in. Okay. So I will actually say this was a hit.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy / Carnage.
Woody Harrelson should stay out of comic book movies.
Okay. I'm going to interpret that as a miss.
That's a miss, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I was picking up what you're putting down, dude. So, yeah, I mean, I agree. Colin Farrell knocked it out of the park. We got the Penguin. That series comes out next month, September. I'm really looking forward to that. Like,
but you see what DC is doing? They don't have a lot of news, but they're trickling out these things. So you got, Batman animated series come out on streaming. And then, by the time that gets through, well, it's already all out, right? It's like 10 episodes. So then on the heels of that is going to be, the Penguin movie.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, they have a heartbeat.
Yeah.
They're like Superman buried in the grave,
Correct.
He's there kind of like, looks kind of dead, but not really.
But it's like, it's their side projects that are more exciting than their main. You know, like you in Marvel, you got the MCU, and then you got like the things that are not connected are just like X-Men '97, animate, whatever.
Right.
You got the DCU, which we've not seen anything yet, but the Batman film and the Penguin stuff is its own thing. Mm-hmm. The Caped Crusader animated series is its own thing. Mm-hmm. And those are the things they're putting out that are doing well. So maybe you don't need to copy the MCU formula. I don't know. But and we'll talk about Caped Crusader. I watched about half of the first season.
I don't know what I watched. I did watch some of it. Got some highlights.
Okay.
Kind of went to sleep at some point.
All right.
But yeah, we can talk about it.
We'll dig into that a little bit later. We also have we respond, and then we got Hidden Gem and Agree to Disagree later on. So we got a lot of stuff. Right. But right now, what we're going to talk about is Doom versus Kang. So for several reasons. One, Kang was replaced by Doom essentially in the MCU. And there's a lot of talk about who's the better villain, who's better to build this next phase around. I think it's Doom. But I wanted to kind of go through. Little comparison between the two. So,
but before we get into it, why do you think that Doom is better than Kang?
I think from a power set, number one, I think he's more powerful than Kang, and I think he's more of an interesting character because he walks that line of almost like an anti-hero / villain at times, and to me, Kang is just. He's not high evolutionary level, but he's kind of psychotic, Right. He really just wants to fuck shit up for the most part. And I think Doom's more interesting,
Just for clarity, I'm not asking that question because I'm trying to dissuade you from your opinion.
Oh, yeah.
God forbid, right?
Right.
I'm just because Kang is relatively not new, but he's kind of like been kept a hidden gem. Yeah. All these years, so there's not a lot known about him. Just kind of like Gambit. I mean, he's been there for years, but just not a lot known about him. So I'm just curious, your take on him. That's all.
Now, hopping into this, his origin's pretty interesting. He's essentially he's a Reed Richards descendant.
Yes.
Right, like Nathaniel Richards, way in the future. He then comes back, he finds out how to time travel, right? Mm-hmm. And dude, he goes back in time. I think where he originally starts, he goes back to Egypt, and he's Rama Tut. He's basically like a pharaoh at one point. Mm-hmm. But he knows how to time travel. He's playing around, messing around, and Dr. Doom's right. It's funny how they're both connected to Reed. Mm-hmm. Dr. Doom they met in college, I believe, right? And then his mom was killed, I believe, right? Morbius killed his mom or some shit. And then he built some equipment to try to resurrect her, which that was faulty, destroyed his face, and then he blames Reed Richards, essentially.
Okay, yeah. That's how that works. All I know is if Jonathan Majors is playing Kang, then somewhere along the line, one of them Richards boys got some strong J. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Unless they're just they're gonna pull like a Batman, change the whole dynamic of Gordon and that whole thing.
So. How they do that so often. Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I guess that's another reason why they got rid of Majors, maybe.
I don't know, dude.
But there's other versions where he's linked to Victor Von Doom as well, Kang.
Right.
So it all depends, I guess, what story they're adapting.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if Kang is a result of what is it like? So Superboy. Mm-hmm. His parents were Lex Luthor and Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Because Lex got some DNA from Superman and spliced it with his own to create clones.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if, because of Doom's obsession with Richards, that he didn't get some of his DNA in somewhere. Who knows?
Yeah.
Make it interesting or not.
Right.
Or not.
Now, they did explain a little bit of this in Loki, right? When He Who Remains, he kind of tells you the Kang origin of, going back in time. And, it's funny. It said that basically he was bored with the peaceful future he was born into. and that's when he discovered time travel. His first trip was back to Egypt. That's what it was, and he became a pharaoh. Imagine that, just being bored with peace, and you're like, fuck it, I'm just go back in time and start conquering shit.
Or you're a race that's a million years old, and hey, let's just go and create this little planet third from the sun and make some shit on it.
There you go. There's that too.
It happens.
Yes, it does. Now, both of these guys are huge Fantastic Four villains, right? Also Avengers, but I think when I hear Doom, I think Fantastic Four. I don't know about
Absolutely.
You know? And Kang's one where I think probably more Avengers.
Correct.
But Fantastic Four is probably the second, biggest adversary, maybe.
Yeah. They cross paths occasionally.
Now, you're big Victor Von Doom guy, right?
Yeah.
He's European dude, right? How do you say that? Latveria? How do you say it?
I say Latveria.
Latveria, okay. Which is it's a fictional place.
Sure.
Which is odd for Marvel because it's not odd. They have Wakanda, but for the most part, Marvel has real life cities. DC's pretty much all fictional cities. But this is like over in near Hungary, Romania, that area. And that was another thing. People were like, well, Robert Downey Jr. is not Romanian. How can he play that? Dude.
How does Hugh Jackman, who's not, Canadian or American, play Wolverine? Hey,
Chadwick Boseman wasn't African. You're like, well, he's black. It's different. It's very different.
Yep.
But I actually was reading that his Robert Downey Jr.'s father's grandparents, I think, are from Lithuania.
It doesn't matter because I don't think that Doom has an accent anyway.
No, he doesn't.
I've never seen anything that alluded to him having an accent in the comics.
Correct. And I don't know about you, but you line up someone from, who's Romanian, someone who's Canadian, someone who's Australian. I doubt most people are going to be able to pick out who's who.
So
be honest.
How did they introduce RDJ? On a stage with a bunch of other people in masks, right?
Correct. Yep.
So it kind of doesn't matter.
No, not
who
at
he
all.
is, what he looks like or sounds like.
Right.
Because he's talking through pretty much a speaker through his arm anyway. And besides the fact that his face is scarred up, right?
Correct.
Supposedly. Maybe they'll pull him out before all that happened.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I think we'll probably see somewhat of an origin, right? We'll probably, because for them to just dump Doom on us, and this is not an origin we've seen a bunch.
Right.
So, it's not like the Batman where it's like, we know, we got it. Just you can start in year 2 or 3, which they've finally learned.
Right.
We've not seen this with Doom. Right. So I think we will see some of Robert Downey Jr., no scarred face, him being Victor Von Doom, turning into Doom.
I would like to see like a brief, maybe 3 minutes of, remember when the origin of Magneto, the concentration camps and all that? I would like to see something like that, something that kind of explains his psychology, his psychosis, his train of thought.
Yep. Yeah, it all starts, I guess, around his mother. And then, now he also, Doom knew magic, too, at a young age, right?
I think part of his inheritance is magic, and then he developed it. I'm not sure. Or maybe at some point he figured magic would accent his technology.
Okay.
It's one of those two.
Yeah.
I believe.
His father was a gypsy healer. But yeah, his mom was killed in a deal with not Morbius, that's fucking DC. That's not DC. That's the character that Spider-Man's not allowed in his movies. Mephisto.
Yep.
She had a deal with him. And then a lot of what led to his scarring was he had this obsession with resurrecting his mother's soul, created a machine that communicated with the dead, and then the device malfunctioned, and for some reason he blamed Reed Richards and then hated him.
Probably because he looked over Reed's shoulder part of the time, apparently.
Right.
And got some calculations wrong, and it messed up, and because he didn't look over his shoulders all the time,
right,
he got something wrong.
He was probably checking out Sue Storm, because we know that, Victor wants Reed's entire life.
I don't know, dude. He wants Reed's life. He doesn't want Sue. Sue is just part of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Xavier and Magneto, man. That X-Men 97.
Oh, you think Doom's crushing on Reed a little bit? Is there a little extension of a bromance happening?
Yeah, I think that's what's going on.
Oh shit, dude. Now Doom's power set. What is his actual power? Does he have any actual powers?
Doom has no power.
Okay.
Other than the ability to wield some magic.
Okay.
Everything else is his mind and the technology that's built into his armor, which he has enhanced over the years, of course, through either his own tinkering or stealing or whatever.
Okay. Which is funny that they have Robert Downey Jr. playing this character because very similar, right? Iron Man doesn't have any powers.
Right.
It's a suit. So what type of power does Doom's suit have?
Force fields, concussive blasts. I mean, his force field can withstand a direct nuclear hit.
Okay.
Life support, limited, flight, things like that.
Got it. So he can fly. So very similar to an Iron Man suit.
Sure.
Which, again, I think it just makes a lot of sense why they've casted Robert Downey Jr. for this part.
Sure. His other thing is that because of the armor, because of the suit, he has made, not clones, but androids, duplicates of himself. Right. Yeah, and he sends them out on NATO missions, not NATO, but basically like heads of state missions. Like these things are in place of him in court systems and political systems. I mean, they're that sophisticated.
Right. And he's also like the equivalent to the president of his country, right? Like
he's a dictator. He is the ruler. Yeah. The owner basically of his country, but his countrymen love him because they know that he protects them.
So just all of that, kind of to re-answer your question from before, why I think I'm more excited about this, the depth of this character,
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
But my perspective was that, I mean, Kang is relatively new on the block.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even compare the two when it comes to who do I want to see the most or first.
Got it. I was reading his magic abilities are so good they allow him to compete with Doctor Strange, which Doctor Strange is probably one of the most powerful sorcerers in any fiction,
Except up against Xavier's sister.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Right, yeah. Yep. That was sick. When she said I wore his skin around for like a week.
Right.
He was nothing. Like, he was a fucking ant or something.
Right. This what is it? This magician.
Yeah.
This magician came through and I took this from him.
Funny, I didn't realize this when I saw the movie, but I saw this online this past week. Cassandra's lair, essentially Ant-Man's skull.
Right.
There, you could see Doctor Strange's cloak on like a table right behind where they were standing.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just there in plain sight.
But the cloak is itself magic, separate of Strange.
Right.
So that's kind of strange. That's kind of weird that it's just there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have done something like went back or
maybe she killed the cloak?
Maybe she killed the cloak too.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, she's powerful as shit, right? I mean, she took care of Johnny Storm like that.
The thing about it is that. So, from what I've read, the .22 handgun, right?
Yeah.
Is the weapon that's killed the most people, and people talk about bump stock or whatever the hell that is.
Mm-hmm.
These semi-automatics, all these automatic guns, and all this kind of stuff. But the .22 kills the most people.
Right.
My point is that even if Cassandra isn't as powerful as Strange, Strange mentality when he approaches people, and this is how a lot of good people get hurt, when they approach a person, they're not thinking malicious, or the intent or whatever. And Cassandra is like, I'm going to murder this dude as soon as he's within reach of any of my powers. So she can come in with the .22. Strange has a .45, right?
Right.
She can come in with the .22, take this guy out, but simply because he's not expecting a first strike.
Yeah. It's kind of like the whole, the 7 Justice League question, right? Like it's the intent of like what you're willing to do. Your Justice League's going to sit back and react. Dude, Homelander's just going to be eye lasering motherfuckers like
whatever,
dude. I mean, all right, we're ready for breakfast, like it's just another day.
Exactly.
Now Kang also doesn't have any powers himself. It's the suit, right? Like it's, suit allows him. He's a genius. He's figured out time travel. He can travel to different realities. Like you know,
but does that make him a genius though? Because he's from the future, and the it's like Clark Kent, right? Like Kryptonians. They're so far ahead that their basic knowledge is thousands of years ahead. You know what I'm saying?
So he's not a genius.
So he's just, like a C average dude in his time.
Right. He's
a
the cheat sheet.
Super genius compared to us.
It's because he's got the cheat sheet, dude. He's able. Yeah, no, I actually think you're right. I don't think he's considered a genius. I think he's just considered someone who collected a bunch of information there's comics where he's brought things from one, you know, time and period back to a younger version of himself, and he essentially created this Kang Council of all these Kangs, which then, you know, caused a lot of other issues because now you got everyone trying to conquer each other.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, similar in power set because it's the suit that provides him superhuman strength. You know, he's got energy weapons, anti-gravity, which we've seen some of this in Ant-Man. Quantumania. We saw some of his power set. We didn't really see a lot of it in Loki because he was just kind of like hanging out, you know, in that big empty space at the end of time.
Big library.
Yeah, the big empty library, you know, just for years upon years. Now, if these two were to fight, right? I'm sure they have in the comics, but based on what we talked about today, who do you think has the upper hand?
The upper hand?
Yep.
I would say Kang based on future because he has future knowledge.
Okay.
Like he already knows the outcome. Like if I exist 100 years from now, I win this battle through some means only because I exist 100 years from now. Kind of a deal, right?
Okay.
Doom, I think, would win like if Kang didn't have that. So Kang's knowledge of the future is equivalent, I think, to some degree, Doom's magic. So, right? If you take those two things out, Doom. I think Doom.
I say Doom, too. I think the magic gives them an advantage, right? Because outside of the magic, they're both just people with, you know, souped-up suits, right?
Exactly.
But the fact that he can and I do think his intellect gives him – I hear what you're saying about Kang having more knowledge.
Sure.
But I think Doom being just sharper and more intelligent in general gives him that edge.
Right.
And
it's like the difference between smart and intelligent.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So Doom is smart and intelligent, and Kang is intelligent.
Right, right. Now, both of these characters have done some crazy shit in the comics. Like, you know, there's the comic line where Kang conquers Earth in an alternate timeline. He creates the Council of Kangs. I mean, he's battled the Avengers across every fucking time there possibly is. He became, and I've never heard, Immortus. You ever heard of this character? Kang became Immortus. I guess it's like one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. I don't know how he transformed into this character, but.
Is that, I thought Immortus was like a extra dimensional character.
Yeah, he's like a master of limbo. And
yeah.
So Kang evolved into him at one point. Yeah. And then he conquered the entire universe in a Young Avengers story.
Okay.
But I mean, Doom, same thing. Let's say same thing, but a lot of amazing feats. He stole power from the Silver Surfer at one point.
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably recognize more of these than I do. Now it became God Emperor Doom in Secret Wars. Yeah. That was, and I've not read as much Doom as you, but of the stuff I've read and consumed, that's my favorite version. Yeah. God Emperor Doom. That's a badass one. The white suit too.
Yeah, but he still has this childlike dependency on Reed and all this other kind of stuff. Other stuff that he's done, attacked Galactus to steal his power. Went up against his mother's rapist because that whole Mephisto, his mother's the deal. Yeah, it was a deal, all right.
Oh, yeah.
So he's gone up against him. So basically he's fought, you know, gods and demons and everything in between.
Right. And in the original Secret Wars, he defeated the Beyonder.
Right.
Which is, the Beyonder's basically the god almost, or one of them of the Marvel Universe. So, I mean, two insanely powerful characters. The more I read about Kang, the less I like what they did with him in Ant-Man. Like, think about this. Forget about the movie and everything. But if I said to you, Ant-Man defeated Kang, how does that statement make you feel?
I would say that's ridiculous.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Essentially, that's what happened. Wow. So, yeah. So I guess I don't think Kang's been done justice.
The 22 against the 45.
There you go. There you go. But
silly, but
very silly, very silly. But
you were saying you don't think they did Kang justice?
No, I don't think they did him justice in that movie. You know, it's a shame that, and of course they didn't know this at the time, but like when they had Jonathan Majors, when they had this Kang character, that's the introduction they chose in a fucking Ant-Man movie that had some of the worst CGI since X-Men Origins. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty bad. You haven't seen this
I still haven't seen it.
Yeah. I do say for the Jonathan Majors aspect, it's worth a watch because he does a great job of the portrayal. But the overall movie, I mean, there's a lot worse movies in the MCU, but it's definitely not one of the best.
This is what just happened is a perfect example of the influence of Rotten Tomatoes, right? I have not seen the Ant-Man movie because you have shit on it so much. That's specific.
Wait, me or Rotten Tomatoes?
You.
No, it's the greatest movie ever, I promise. It's so great if I do that. Well, this is one that it's funny you mentioned this. It's a little bonus one here. The critic score was 46%. The audience score was 82%. Shockingly, wow. Yeah. I'd give this movie probably, if I was giving my own percentage here on the Only Comics meter, I'd give it a 68, solid 68. Not horrible, not great.
Right. Only Comics o meter. I like that.
Only Comics o meter. Oh, o meter, yeah. Hey, we'll work on the name.
Only is one word.
Yep.
Comics o meter is one word.
Okay, Only Comics o meter. All right, I like it. That's what we're gonna roll with
until we change our mind.
Yeah, until we change it. It's a work in progress. What's that called when they work on a movie and they don't want the name to get out? They call it a working title. That's our working title.
There you
okay?
Go. Working title.
Only Comics on meter. But yeah, I'd give it a solid, probably 65, 68, something like that. Yeah, okay. It does have some pretty bad shit. It has some cool moments, but again, him playing Kang is worth at least a watch to me. So you guys let us know. How do you feel? Do you agree? Do y'all think was anyone watching part of this audience that gave it an 82, which I think is pretty high? But anyway, so Doom versus Kang. I agree. I think Doom would win in a straight-up fight. If you could pick, you personally, a Doom suit with the powers or Kang suit with the powers, which one would you choose?
Doom. All day. All day in the dark.
Okay.
Matte black, satin shiny. I don't give a damn, dude. Yep. Doom is just bad.
Okay. Now, from a look standpoint, I'd choose Doom. But, something about, well, is Kang's suit what helps him travel time? Or no, it's his devices that he has? I don't think it's the suit.
I'm not sure, but I think he has some kind of ship, or maybe I'm confusing him with somebody else. I am unsure.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, the time travel has me leaning towards Kang because that would be cool, But the overall look, and, yeah, I'd lean more towards Doom in the power set. And, I mean, shit, he knows magic, too, so you get that. But, yeah, so I'd say cooler suit, Doom. Cooler powers or most powerful, I'd say Doom's more powerful.
Yeah.
We talked about a handful of impressive comic feats. I think Doom also outranks Kang there. Yeah. So all across the board, dude, it's Doom over Kang.
Yep. Besides, I'm not feeling that purple.
Now you don't like the purple?
Nah.
He's kind of a goofy looking comic character, especially in the older drawings. In Secret Wars, dude, he just looks like a joke. The original one, who the fuck's this guy? Anyways, well, there you have it. Doom versus Kang. You guys let us know what side do you fall on? You leaning more towards Doom, Kang? And I do think that, Robert Downey Jr., I can't say this enough. I think he's going to kill this, knock this out of the park, and I'm all for it. And, this statement has been thrown out there that, this is it's lazy to cast Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. And then people say shit like this, and then I go, explain it to me. And then you hear crickets. People just say dumb shit, but
because they just assume that you're gonna agree with them,
right?
Or not challenge their ruling.
Yep. I'm like, dude, there's a few people in the comments, and if y'all are watching, give me your fucking explanation. You say, oh, it's lazy, oh, it's not gonna work, or he can't pull it off. Explain to me why Robert Downey Jr. can't pull this off.
Wow.
Explain to me. He can't. Do you think this is lazy at all, casting? I think it's more risky than anything.
I think it's a masterful chess piece move because you got somebody who's dynamic. Because, again, my thing has always been with people with masks and these suits that cover their whole bodies and stuff, like a Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool, you have to project you through the costume, right? In order to portray that character. And I think RDJ is probably one. I'm not saying he's the only one, but he's the only one that I've seen in recent times that has that capability, unless they put Jonathan Majors as Doom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you got to be, and so I think it's masterful for them to choose him. And I think out of the options, he was the better of whatever the cast lineup is today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've heard people like Cillian Murphy. I don't know if that's how you say his name or not. He's the guy who played Scarecrow in the Nolan movies. He's also the guy from Oppenheimer, the main character.
The skinny dude?
Yeah, skinny dude. I've heard that. I've heard Adam Driver, who plays, come on.
No.
What's his name? Kylo Ren from, no. Yeah, so I've heard some ridiculous stuff. But, no, I agree. I don't think there's a better choice to play Doom in this universe with the connection and whether he's going to be a Tony Stark variant or not. Obviously, there's going to be that connection there. But I also think that's a cool – I mean, dude, they kicked this thing off with Robert Downey Jr.
I think that the only way that there's going to be a Tony Stark connection with this Doom character is when people go in there thinking that there's going to be a Tony Stark connection. Yeah. I don't think there's going to be any connection whatsoever.
Yeah. I hope there's not. What do you think about, I don't know if you noticed this, the Secret Wars logo? They changed the colors to like red and yellow, almost Iron Man color. Now, and when they originally showed it, it was like black. And when they showed the Doomsday logo, which was green for Doctor Doom. What do you think? You think that's a subtle tease for an Iron Man variant showing up? Like, do you think do you think Robert Downey Jr. could play Doom and an Iron Man variant in the same movie?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because all you got to do is stop filming over here.
Right.
Go get makeup done over here tomorrow.
Well, I know how they could. I'm saying, do you think he could? Let me rephrase that. Do you think he could pull it off?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, how many variants of Kang did what's his face?
Yeah, right. Like,
I mean, these people with multiple personalities that show with Unbreakable. And it was like the second one, I guess, with the guy.
Oh, Split.
Yes. The guy that played
James McAvoy.
Yeah. I mean, he played 6 or 7 people like immediately.
We just saw in Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, Deadpool, nice pull. He killed his own self. Like,
Yep.
So yeah, I actually think that'd be pretty cool.
And you just pointed out, there's really not that big of a stretch between Doom and Iron Man.
Correct.
Technology geniuses, money, and air about them. They got the weapon systems. They wear armor. Come on, dude. It's not that much of a difference.
No. And really, they're both trying to protect their own people. And Robert, Tony Stark's not a politician or rule the country, but a lot of what he does after he stops making weapons is to try to protect the U.S.
Right.
And then you got, Doom protecting his own country.
Right. I mean, it would be kind of weird to see both of them in the same movie.
Yeah.
But I think he could pull it off.
Yeah.
I think it would be convincing.
Yeah. And, I mean, let's not act like Iron Man I keep calling him Robert. Iron Man Tony Stark is not like the centerpiece of the MCU. I mean, we would have no MCU if there was no Tony Stark in this version of the story. So, it almost would pull it full circle to have him come back and, maybe be the one that defeats Doom. Who knows? But either way, the more, we're a couple years out, but the more I hear about this movie, the more we talk about it, more excited I am for it. So again, you guys sound off. Let us know where you fall in the Doom versus Kang. I think it, as unfortunate as it is not to see Jonathan Majors as Kang in the MCU in the near future, I do think the Robert Downey Jr. Doom character brings it up even a higher level, up to the next tier, if you will. Yep. So next up, Adrian, we respond. So I got a handful of comments here that may be some conversation starters, if you will. So our boy Godmode is back, and, we were just talking about power sets and whatnot. Here's a question. Who would you choose gaining all of their powers but also wearing their mask for the rest of your life. So there's a lot of characters in the comics where, they got power sets, but they're stuck wearing a mask, right? So his list here consists of Darth Vader, okay, Spawn, Venom, not really a mask, but mask your whole body, I guess, Deadpool, Doctor Doom, and Dr. Fate. So you have to pick one of these. If you pick Doctor Doom, your face is disfigured, you're wearing the mask, but you get his powers. If you pick Deadpool, you look like that, what they say, like a avocado had sex with a rotten avocado or something like that. So your face will look like that, but you'll be essentially immortal. So if you had to pick one, Adrian, what would you sacrifice here? These are the tough questions, by the way.
I'd roll with Deadpool.
Okay.
I've always leaned toward that immortality thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, we already know. I mean, doesn't really matter what you look like; it's what you do.
Right.
And there's a whole lot of reasons, but yeah,
got it. So Deadpool. I mean, power set. Yeah, he's probably the only one on here that's immortal. I definitely wouldn't pick Spawn. As cool as he is, I mean, he's dead.
Right.
So
well, there's that.
Darth Vader. I mean, he's. No, I would definitely not pick Darth Vader. He can't even breathe without the suit,
Right. Number one would have been, 1 and 2, Deadpool, Doom.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll go with Doom. Venom would be kind of cool too, but a little bit out of control,
Yeah, no, I can't do that. Same reason I didn't choose Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
Because Dr. Fate is possessed.
Right.
Venom is possessed more or less.
Yeah.
So I can't do that. Somebody else is driving the car and stuff.
Yep. I got you. I think I would do mine's reverse. I would pick Dr. Doom first, number one, and then Deadpool second, because obviously he's cool as shit. So Godmode's back, dude. Look at that.
Yeah.
Good question, Godmode. And how do you get on the show? You ask. You just ask a good question. That's all. And stay consistent. So
exactly.
Dookie Golf says Dookie Golf. So Dookie, are you shitty at golf? Is that why your name's Dookie Golf, or do you think golf is shit? I mean, it could be a multitude of things. That could be a whole segment, dude. Try to figure out what people's name. And this is the other stuff.
I brought it up last week. I'm like, dude, what do people think about when they come up with their names?
Yeah. I mean, dude, that like Dookie, or maybe his name's Duke. Could be, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's a big fan of Dukes of Hazzard.
Or the Duke.
The Duke, okay.
Who died with 70 pounds of shit in him.
There's that.
I'm just saying.
Well, here's what Dookie Golf has to say. He says, Robert Downey Jr. will do a great job. I just think bringing him back supports my argument that Endgame could have had a different ending. So, I don't know if it supports that argument, but that's a statement that we have said here before. They shouldn't have killed off Iron Man. Right. You still feel that way?
I still feel that way.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a long run to go in comics and, the MCU and live action.
Right. Now, do you think, would it have been a better choice to kill off another character, or maybe do the same type of ending but not have him die? Maybe have him kind of injured for a while, out of commission for, a handful of movies. You know what I mean? Like, he snaps, he don't die, but he's pretty fucked up for a while, and then we don't see him for a few years. Like, or do you think they should have just killed off somebody else in lieu of Iron Man?
Well, they did kill off several people, but I guess it's just kind of hard for a character that's central, that's been around forever, right? Continues to live in the comics, and then you kill him off in the movies. Even Black Widow.
Right.
I mean, kind of a B-level, C-level character, but still.
Yeah, like, you kind of miss her in the movies now.
Right. So, kill off somebody else, I mean, but then you got the Star Trek stuff, right?
Yeah.
If some new lieutenant or ensign shows up on the show and they beam down to a planet, he's not coming back, right? So you got that kind of stuff. So what I'm saying is you have the main characters that nothing ever happens to them,
right?
But it happens to somebody else. But you know what? At this point, I think that we have seen enough of Iron Man to where we can kill him off and move on to the next thing, because we still got thousands of other characters that we can explore.
Yeah.
You know?
One of the focal points of D23 was Ironheart, the show. So we saw the character Riri Williams introduced in Wakanda Forever. We've not talked about that much. I think that the movie came out before we were doing this show, I believe. Or maybe it was just, maybe we glossed over. I don't remember. But I forget. What was your feeling on Ironheart and Riri Williams, that actress's portrayal in that movie?
I think she did a good job. But, again, I don't have any context because I'd never seen the character before. I think it was a good portrayal of...
Would you want to see more of that character?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, but... in the back of your mind, you're always going to be comparing that character to Iron Man.
Right.
So unless that character does something on that level, then it's like, no, just leave her part of something else.
Yeah. And in the comics, her origin was a little different. I've not read, I don't think I've ever seen Ironheart in a comic that I've read, but I remember when they introduced her. She's a newer character. And it was something to do, I don't know if she met Tony Stark or there was some type of grant or something through a program where he left something to it. But there was a stronger connection outside of just like, her emulating him in the movie, because they never met in these movies. So there was a deeper connection. Again, this is one of those parts where y'all can correct us if you want,
Fact check.
Yeah, fact check it. But there was a deeper connection there. So it is a little odd seeing an Iron Man-esque character with no connection to Iron Man,
Well, I would rather see an Iron Man-esque character than see a regendered version of a main character.
This is Tanya Stark.
Exactly.
You don't want to see that?
No, not at all.
No, or I guess it could be Tony with an I, we just change the Tony Stark.
There you go.
So, yeah, you'd rather not see that.
I'd rather not see that.
But, yeah, I do agree with Dookie Golf here. Endgame could have had a different ending. Now, it was an impactful moment in the movies, but it's almost like that would have been a good moment to end the MCU or reboot the MCU on. But it's like we're going to kill the main character, then try to continue with this, piecemeal universe that we have going on right now. And I don't know, maybe they're bringing it back with this next phase of movies and everything will make sense. But I kind of agree with Dookie here. They could have had a different outcome.
They could have killed off Thor. Nobody would have missed him.
Yeah, there you go.
Especially after that stretch.
Yeah, we wouldn't have seen Thor: Love and Thunder. So,
exactly.
Yeah, it would have been a good time to kill him off.
Yep. I'm just saying.
Dude, that's one that I really hope they restore, because they built that character up so well.
Yeah.
Like his power, in Infinity War and then even in Endgame at the end. Like, dude went toe-to-toe with Thanos when he had all the stones.
Right.
I mean, you think about that. I know, he got him with the snap, but when he threw Stormbreaker down and it's like digging into, dude, he was inches away from killing this guy with all the damn Infinity Stones. Thor's powerful ass being. Right. And then to have them just take speaking of Dookie, taking a giant Dookie on my man in Thor: Love and Thunder. Holy shit.
No, what really messed that whole thing up, because they could have took him out, what's his face from Star-Lord. Dude,
Yep.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, his stupid. Yeah, that was. I think with Thor, it was really the reason why he didn't kill them. I think it was true to the Thor character. Thor's always had this air of arrogance, right? So he was kind of like, instead of finishing him, he had to talk shit, right? He got the thing, and he's like, "I told you I'd kill." Bro, just kill him. Stop. It was kind of like, I don't know if you saw this, the Olympics. There was I forget what country it was, but it was a race, and the girl racing was in third place, and she celebrated a little too early, and then the fourth place person passed her. Like, she's getting close to the finish line, and she kind of takes it off. She's like, yeah, I got this. And this other chick's like, fuck you, bitch, and just goes right by her, dude. Lost third place.
It's like, no, it's not like that. But haven't people seen enough of people doing that kind of shit over the years to know that until you're over the finish line, you don't celebrate? Come on, man.
Dude, that's got to be a horrible, like, you've worked, because it ain't like, you just showed, the Olympics are this week, let's go. Like, you worked years for this moment, and you had it, and it was kind of Thor.
Well, I mean, it's not like she had first place.
Right, true.
But, I mean, but she also lost, so she gets the purple ribbon now, instead of the
she don't get to be on the podium now, dude.
Right, exactly.
She's over here clapping for them while they're on the podium,
I can guarantee you she ain't clapping.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
No, the only thing I've seen about the Olympics is some highlight because I open up like a browser and it comes up with all this news. Some girl, she got like a 0-0 because
she fell, the diver.
No, she didn't.
Was that one?
Well, she fell because when she did her turn, her feet
hit the board.
Hit the board.
Yes.
So that,
dude, that sucks.
I couldn't even imagine. Like, years.
Yeah.
You working years. This shit has never happened before.
Right.
And then in front of everybody,
you got a
this
0.
happens.
Damn, that sucks. That fucking sucks. But anyways, that's our Olympic coverage here. We don't know the names. We don't even know the countries.
Right.
We just know some shit that happened.
Yeah, right.
I do know gymnastics, U.S. gymnastics kicked ass. Simone Biles won a shit ton of medals, and that was cool. And then last night or the other night I was watching a volleyball. Everything's at the damn Olympics. It was a volleyball game, men's
Wall
volleyball.
climbing.
Yeah. Break dancing is in there this year.
What?
Yes, there's a break dancing.
Come on, man. I thought they got ridiculous when they had the broom with the ball of ice.
Yes.
I'm like, what the hell is that, man?
That is crazy. Badminton's in the Olympics. You know what should be in the Olympics?
Wait a minute, what?
Badminton.
What's that?
It's like you use a tennis racket over like a volleyball height net, and it's that little birdie thing, has a ball in the end and little plastic. Yeah, it's like you do this movement. Yep.
I saw something that was like half soccer, half tennis, half. Well, you can't get three halves, but part
halves.
Soccer, part tennis, part football.
Was it rugby?
Where they take the ball, they running around.
Yeah.
They can like slam the ball, they can throw the ball, they can do all this weird
outdoors.
Stuff. Yeah.
Is it rugby maybe?
I don't know.
Rugby is a pretty interesting sport. But
just stuff, man. It's like. Whatever.
You know what they need to have, Adrian, next Olympics? Comic podcasting Olympics. Have us there. I think we win. I think we take gold. Minimally.
I think so.
Yeah, definitely. And according to some of our fans,
they have to have a whole new category. Get some platinum up in that joint.
Yeah. We gotta have something above gold.
Some vibranium.
You got gold. You got vibranium. You got adamantium.
Yep.
There you go. So anyways,
set a new standard up in this joint.
Absolutely. Next up, my man, Eat Chicken 6. Speaking of names, dude, Eat Chicken 6.
Alrighty.
Now, we all eat, well, not all of us. There's some people that are vegetarians, vegans, but we eat chicken here, right? You a big chicken guy? Yeah.
Sure. Well, not a big chicken guy.
No, okay. I like me some chicken, a lot of protein. I don't know where the 6 involved. Like, are you eating 6 chicken? Maybe you like to get the 6 tender piece, at a time, maybe. 6 nuggets, who knows? Speaking of nuggets, I mean, I you got McDonald's, you got Wendy's, you got Burger King. If I'm a nugget guy, I think I'm going Wendy's. Wendy's got some of the best nuggets.
Never had Wendy's nuggets.
Really? No. Are you a chicken nugget guy if you're going fast food, or what's your go-to?
Now I forget the name of it. What was I just talking about the other day?
I don't remember.
Chicken and JoJo's.
Oh, yes.
Chicken and JoJo's.
Okay.
Forget all the nuggets.
Yes. Yeah.
Chicken and JoJo's.
There you go.
Big slices of chicken breast.
Yep.
With them slices. That's it, dude.
There you go. Some hot sauce, some sour cream.
I don't give a damn about no nuggets.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. Next up, Eat Chicken 6. He says, Professor Hulk was so trash. They really did Hulk a huge disservice. Like, Hulk should have had his own movie. I agree with Eat Chicken here. Dude, Professor Hulk was garbage. We were talking about this a few weeks ago. And then there was someone in the comments like, do you know that happened in the comics? Like, okay, let me fill all y'all in on something here. Just because it happens in the comics, Adrian, doesn't mean it's fucking good.
Right.
Like, have you ever read a bad comic?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen something really stupid in a comic?
Yeah. Martha.
I don't think that was from the comics. But it's like that's a lot of times the argument, right? Like, what happened in the comic doesn't mean it's fucking good, dude. Like, there's plenty of shit. So no, I agree that it's Professor Hulk, not for me. It's weird because it was funny in the movie, and it was like Endgame was about moments, right? And I feel like they were going for that moment, that shock of Hulk sitting in the booth in the diner and it was funny. But what you didn't realize when you're sitting there laughing is we now lost that big rage Hulk fucking everything up, which I think if you're weighing the two, I'd prefer to have that rage version back,
It's like a nice Godzilla, right?
Yeah.
So Godzilla is to New York is to Tokyo like the Hulk is to Godzilla.
Yep.
Now imagine Godzilla smaller, right? Because the smart Hulk is smaller. Godzilla's smaller, and he's going around teaching everybody and taking, about how to like breathe fire and, shaking hands with the kids and all that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Godzilla.
Right.
Because what does Godzilla and Tokyo, why are they together? Because Godzilla's always wrecking Tokyo.
Dude,
the Hulk is always destroying New York.
Right.
So you got the smart Hulk, no destruction. You got the smart Godzilla, no Tokyo destruction. So it's just stupid.
Yeah, yep. Unnecessary. And then you get we were comparing Edward Norton's Hulk to Mark Ruffalo a few weeks ago.
Yep. There's no comparison.
Yaya Diaz PR says it's not Ruffalo's fault though, it's the creators. And this is where I say we don't need social media attorneys. No one said it's his fucking fault. We're just saying he wasn't as good as the other guy who played Hulk.
Right.
That's my feeling. That's my statement.
Ruffalo's getting a check just like Norton was getting a check.
Right.
But
no one's blaming the actor. Like, it's all your fault. Like, dude, they're just people.
Yeah, but it sounds like it's Norton's fault that he's didn't play Hulk.
That's true.
Again,
That's true. That's true. It's definitely his fault there. But no, I'm not blaming Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo's a great actor. I've seen him in a lot of other movies. But if I'm picking one out of the two, I like the Edward Norton.
Right.
Well, you don't like Mark Ruffalo's acting?
I don't remember seeing him in much.
He was funny. He actually was in a movie with Robert Downey Jr. where they were detectives. It was the Zodiac case. You ever seen that movie? I think the movie's called Zodiac. It's like one of those murder crime thrillers that's based on a true story. But it's really funny seeing those two in that environment because like their look in that movie is similar to Bruce Banner and Tony Stark. So yeah, it's pretty. It's throws you off a little bit. But
you ever seen Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock?
I've seen pieces. I've never seen the whole movie.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I heard he does a good job as Sherlock Holmes. Wait, he can play someone else that's not Tony Stark?
Shocker!
Oh my God! Holy shit! I just stop the tape. I can't take this.
Didn't he get like an Oscar or something?
Yeah,
playing somebody else.
You think he got an Oscar because he did a bad job, or
I don't know. Well, apparently he was able to separate himself from Tony Stark and play this other character so well.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
The Academy gave him an award, you know? So, hey, what do we know? We're just a couple podcasters here hanging out.
That's it.
Anyways, moving on, Adrian. Hidden Gem. What do we got going on in Hidden Gem this week?
All right, so watching the new Batman animated series come out got me to thinking. And we've kind of like, we have talked about these people in the past. So these are the supporting casts in the movie. So got thinking about Alfred Pennyworth.
Yep.
Clearly, dude is no longer in the SIS.
No, he ain't been in the gym in a while.
So, Alfred Pennyworth, he basically he grew up, and so for anybody that don't know, Alfred is Bruce Wayne's butler, cohort on the Batman side, but a lot of people might not know that he comes from his father was also a butler for the Waynes in England.
Yep.
And Alfred didn't want to do that shit. Yeah. So he ran away as a kid, did all this stuff. Eventually joined the army or whatever at 18. Part of all these, elite groups of people in the military. But at some point when I think he was like 25, he got word about his father. His father actually wrote him a letter to tell him not to become a butler. Okay. But he never got it.
Oh, damn.
So he went back post his father's death and then accepted the role of the butler for the Waynes. Yeah. Anyway. And so in America.
Should have texted him.
Right? Something. So that's how he got into that. But we talk about all these superheroes or supervillains.
Yep.
And, but we don't talk about are the people that are instrumental in making these superheroes and supervillains. And we're talking about the Aunt Mays. We're talking about the Lucius Fox.
Yep.
The Alfred Pennyworths, the Jim Gordons. All of these people are instrumental in helping shape the character. Like we saw in one of the Batman animated shows where, what was it? If Batman was going off on the Joker or somebody, and if it wasn't for Jim Gordon, he probably would have killed him.
Hush,
Right.
when he thought that Joker killed Thomas Elliott,
Right.
that he was beating his face in. You're right.
Yeah.
If Jim Gordon didn't stop him, he would have been dead.
Yeah. So, and then Alfred, who, is this kid, so he met Bruce Wayne when Bruce was 4, right? And then like a few years later, I think Bruce was like 7 or 8 is when his parents died. And
Martha!
Exactly. And Alfred became his parent or his guardian. And Bruce, was a little dick.
Yes.
And, his parents died, so he was feeling some kind of way about it. So he was acting out, and Alfred actually put him in a boys' school. He got out of that. And so all the time, Alfred is like a father figure to him. He's his parent. And not only that, but he's also taking care of the Wayne estate.
Right.
All that money flowing around. And then when Bruce was like also 18, he leaves. He just ups and disappears.
Yep.
So he goes off and, globetrotting, getting training, unbeknownst to Alfred, to be this vigilante
Learning
that he
how
decided,
to be a badass motherfucker.
So then he comes back at 25. And, he tells Alfred, what he's been doing, what he does. Alfred reluctantly, buys into it, and the rest is history, know. So they classify him as a genius level intellect also, but he is a very consistent force in Bruce's life and Batman's life. So this week's hidden gems are really the hidden gems, right? We know about they make comic books about, Batman and Superman and all those. They don't make comic books about Alfred Pennyworth, Jim Gordon, even like a Lois Lane, May Parker, all these people, the Lucius Fox. Matter of fact, Lucius Fox is actually the brain. Everybody thinks that Bruce Wayne built all this shit in his back. He did not, dude.
Right.
He doesn't have the bandwidth to build all this shit and be Batman and be Bruce Wayne and be the Playboy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Lucius Fox, he's the brainchild behind a lot of the Batman tech. Specifically the Batwing, the tumbler, his initial suit, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So these people are the ones that's in the background. Lucius Fox and Alfred Pennyworth is Batman's. Well, I put it this way: Lucius Fox is to Bruce Wayne and kind of Batman what Alfred is to Batman, right? Because they are the shadows of these guys, right?
Right.
So they say if you don't have a shadow, you're actually not alive. You kind of in between dimensions or some bullshit. But they are the shadows of these characters, and they actually are very integral in making these characters who they are. So I just wanted to bring that up because a lot of people, we don't think about them. They're just there, Alfred and his many things or whatever. And Alfred was a badass.
Yeah.
And like,
he was a military. Was he a Secret Service or a CIA or some shit?
No, he's like the equivalent of the Green Beret over in Europe.
Okay.
Like the SIS or something like that.
Got it.
He apparently went on between 18 and 22. He went on like 20 something mission. I mean, this dude.
He's a badass.
He's a badass. Yeah. He's all over the place. Also, by the time he's frugal, right? He's a butler. I mean, you're the butler, but I mean, you making money,
right?
Besides
the Waynes, yeah.
besides the fact that you don't have to spend any of your money to live. I mean, you're cooking all the food, you're eating all the food, you're staying at the mansion, you're driving around in your own vehicles, you're traveling around wherever they want you to go. So he was actually a billionaire by the time I think he even started taking care of Bruce. Oh yeah. Wow. So the dude had money. Yeah. He had so much money that when he actually died, and in some version he died, I think this some kind of Earth. He died and he left all his money to Robin, and then Robin left the money to some kind of trust fund or something like that. And he actually built a statue of Alfred in this town wherever he donated all this money to. So the dude had money. Yeah. Man.
It's funny that when you're talking about, there's a Nightwing comic series that came out like a year or two ago, and it picks up at that point where Alfred's dead.
Right.
He leaves his money to Dick Grayson, and then I haven't read the whole thing, but it started off pretty good. It kind of ties back to Robin's origins and the whole Tony Zuko or whatever, the guy who killed his parents. I think his daughter's now running that version of his, crime squad or whatnot. But it started with that, the whole, Alfred leaving him money.
Yeah. So the hidden gems this week is not one particular person, even though I'm highlighting Alfred Pennyworth, but it's all the supporting characters of all the people that we have grown to love in comics, over the years. The Bruce Waynes, the Batman, Spider-Man, Peter Parker,
even Tony Stark. Like in the MCU, Jarvis is an AI.
Well, let's not dismiss Happy either.
Happy, you got Happy Hogan, yeah.
But so Jarvis was
like a butler in the comics, right?
Actually, it's funny. Because guess what the name of Alfred's father was named?
Was it Jarvis?
It was Jarvis.
Really?
Jarvis Pennyworth. Yep.
Oh, shit. So Tony Stark is Bruce Wayne's grandfather now. I don't know how the math works. But in the comics, Jarvis is not an AI. It's the butler, right? Like it's...
Right. Jarvis was I think an actual butler at some point. And when he died, Tony it was like a tribute.
Yeah.
So he named his AI Jarvis.
Yep. But I don't know that, Tony's butler was as badass as Alfred, though.
No, he definitely was not.
Yeah, I think Alfred would whip Jarvis's ass. Yeah. You know where you ever seen the show Gotham?
Yeah.
Dude, they did a good job of showing, like you said, there's not really a lot of comics for these sideline characters. For the bulk of that show, the focus was Jim Gordon,
right,
Harvey Bullock, and Alfred. And Alfred was a badass in that show.
Right.
That was a pretty cool show.
Yeah. I didn't see all of it. I saw pieces of it.
Yeah.
Had your girl in there, what's her face?
Oh, Deadpool's girl, Morena Baccarin.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
if I would have saw her, I would have watched more of it.
Leslie Tompkins. She plays Leslie Tompkins, the doctor from like the shitty part of Gotham or whatever.
No, Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh, that's right. She was in there.
Yeah.
Damn, that was before Will Smith was smacking folks, Shit. Should have had Will Smith in there. He would have smacked the shit out of Alfred or somebody. Did you? I like we were talking about Deadpool and Wolverine a few weeks ago. The callback to that Will Smith moment when Deadpool's fighting the TVA agents and the guy says something about Canada and he goes, "Keep my country's name out of your fucking mouth." That was a great line.
I think you had to watch the movie at least 2 times to realize what that was about. I didn't get that.
Damn, you gotta go again. You gotta get back there. You gotta get back there.
Yeah. My wife wants to go see that movie again.
Really? Dude, my daughter keeps asking me. I might go for a 4th time. I've never seen a movie 4 times in the theater. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, why not? Fuck it.
Why not?
Shit. I got the big bucket, not the Deadpool one, but I got the refillable one. So it's like $5, I think, to refill it. Yeah. So
wait a minute, it's not unlimited free?
No. It's not unlimited free. But I mean, when you buy a large popcorn, what's that cost now? $63, I think.
Probably.
Yeah. So you save a bunch by doing that.
Okay.
Here I am plugging AMC shit again. Why don't you, AMC, send me one of these Deadpool Wolverine buckets? There's a lot of people in the comments saying they saw the same shit. Fucking assholes.
Really?
Going to the theater, but like an hour before the movie starts to buy the bucket and just leave.
Wow.
There was one chick, she said that somebody offered her $100 for her bucket while she was leaving the theater so they can go sell it for, probably $150. Yep. Fucking people, man. Unbelievable.
These are the same people that go to events and watch the event through the recording that they're making that they'll never fucking see again.
Correct. Or you see them, they swarm celebrities and get them to sign shit, and they're not even fans. But can you sign these 20 photos? And they're signing them, and then you see them on eBay. Like, I've seen some celebrities, like, there's been some WWE guys and some athletes, like, dude, I'm not signing that. Like, right. Travis Scott, he was walking out of, I don't know where it was, but they asked him for a signature, and before he signed it, he goes, what's your favorite song of mine? Like, because you could just be some random guy, sign this song, go sell it. And the ones that gave him a song of his, he actually signed their shit.
Nice.
But it got to be some type of verification.
Something.
But, dude, for the buckets, I've said this before, AMC, you're probably watching. Well, they're definitely watching too, right?
Oh, a valid reason or large stretch of flesh.
Yeah. Definitely. But you should make the person buying the bucket show their ticket. that you should have to have a movie ticket to buy the Deadpool Wolverine bucket. You know, a little late for that, but
yeah. And why limit sales?
Yeah, that too. So, well, there you have it. Nice hidden gem, Adrian. Of these sideline characters, I mean, you focused a lot on Alfred. Is he one of your favorites? Is there others that stick out to where that you like more, or is Alfred kind of the?
No, they're all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to acknowledge and recognize these characters because, again, they are part of the livelihood of these people, whether they're in costume or not, right? And they do help build them into whatever they are.
Like, there's no Batman without Alfred.
Right.
You know, just like, you know, Ant-Man or MJ. I mean, MJ is more than just a love interest at times, you know. Or like we see with the newer Spider-Man, you know, the MCU version, Ned, you know, the guy in the chair. There's always someone. Dude, even from Ms. Marvel, I forget her friend's name, but he's there to help her. Blue Beetle's got, like, every main character, mostly heroes, have some type of backup, if you will.
They are their conscience.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are your own compass, you're gonna steer yourself off into some oblivion. You know, you'll be like the High Evolutionary or something. Yeah. He's alone.
Correct.
Right. He doesn't have a supporting person, and look at him.
Yeah, it's insane. Batman has several though. I mean, you mentioned Lucius, you mentioned Alfred, Gordon, even Oracle. So there, you know, when Barbara Gordon gets shot and paralyzed, she's now in the wheelchair. Then she becomes kind of like the girl in the chair type. And there's, you know, I'm a big fan of the Arkham video games, and in that, Oracle is kind of the voice in your headset the whole time, you know, helping Batman along the way. So yeah, I agree. These characters don't get enough shine. I mean, even going, you know, to Hulk, talking about Betty Ross. I mean, how the big part she played, who we've not seen since Edward Norton went bye-bye, you know, unfortunately. So, well, speaking of Alfred, it's a good segue, Adrian, because we're going to talk about Batman Caped Crusader. We get some thoughts on that, dude. It's like we're into it, you know.
That's the way
we've
works,
done this before. So Caped Crusader, I got about halfway through. I'll probably finish it up this week. Now, it's kind of like I started on a low and went back up. Like when the first episode, the reimagining of the Penguin, I'm not a fan of. I think you just could have had a different character maybe because it didn't feel Penguin-esque. Now, but I do like, I guess, things I like about the show. I like the look. I like the tone. I like the soundtrack. The score is really cool. The voice acting, for the most part, was pretty solid. I like the episodic feel. Like, I do feel there's some connecting story, but the episodes feel very standalone, a lot like Batman the Animated Series, so I enjoyed it for that. Like you know, I felt like every episode kind of focused on a different villain, which was cool. What about you in general? How'd you feel watching this?
I was actually surprised.
Yeah.
I liked that the 50 what do they call it?
Noir.
The noir look and really feel to it. I liked all the old stuff. You know, like you said, somebody picked up a phone and operated that kind of stuff. So that was cool. It fit.
Yes,
it fit. I even liked the way it was like retro with Batman, the way he stands. You know, it's weird, but he has like a particular stance to him. I like the suit.
Yeah.
I wasn't taken aback by the Penguin.
Okay.
To me, she was an entirely different character.
Yeah.
I mean, they refer to her as the Penguin, but to me, because she's taller, she's more outgoing.
Right.
She's a freaking burlesque singer, you know, pretty much, right?
Right.
So I saw her as an entirely different character. So I could get down with that.
Got it.
So I was cool with that. And it just so happens that, you know, she comes up with this big ass gun, and then the next movie I watched was called it wasn't an animated movie, but it was called The Losers. Yeah. And it's about this guy buying all these high end weapons and stuff. So it was like, it's crazy. It's like money, buy a bunch of destructive weapons and just destroy stuff. So I was pretty cool with the whole premise of it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. If you look at it as a different character, then it's fine. Which is why I'm also like, why don't you just make it a different character? But
exactly.
But not to, you know, I ain't gonna nitpick. It's all in all, I enjoyed it. I definitely want to finish it and see where it goes. I like, you know, the Batman voice is kind of growing on me a little bit.
I heard that. It was like it changed. It's like when I drink coffee. I drink coffee with milk in it, right? It's like when I drink coffee with with milk in it, my voice, like now, my voice kind of like changes and it flows and ebbs.
Fuck
and
you,
stuff.
Duncan.
Yeah, exactly. But it was I heard that it was like it was cool at one moment, and then it's like, wait a minute, who's talking?
Yeah,
kind of thing. But
it sounds like, I don't want to say he's doing a Kevin Conroy impression, but it sounds a lot like Kevin Conroy.
Right.
But then it doesn't at times. But I thought for the most part it was pretty good. I like Christina Ricci as Catwoman. I think she did a great job doing her voice in that episode.
I definitely fell asleep on it.
Okay, so you missed that one.
I haven't even seen Catwoman yet.
Have you seen Harley Quinn yet?
No.
Okay.
I started watching it. I popped in and out on some of them. I missed both of those characters. And I woke up on episode like 7 or something.
Oh, damn. So you jumped ahead.
But then I went back.
Yeah.
And I started watching, some of it again. But I like what I've seen.
Yeah. So you were like Kang. You were traveling in time, dude. You jumped to the 7th
That's
episode back. Okay.
That's
Maybe you could play Kang. What do you think?
What episode? I don't know what episode it was, but, Batman was in, it was when Penguin, right before, when she was pulling out the big gun, she was on the yacht.
Yeah.
And Batman's on the water and his bat torpedo or something like that. Man, Gotham is polluted with, it's like, it's like the river came in over a graveyard or something. It was like headstones everywhere, and there was a skeleton or two popped out. It was like, but that goes back to one of my hidden gems about Gotham City, how Gotham City was, of course, Indian land because everything is taken from the Indians.
Of course,
but it was almost
discovered, Adrian. Columbus discovered this.
Okay,
come on,
right. So it's almost like they flooded out. And they've done this with other minorities, too. They just flooded out the whole town. Yeah. And it looked like Gotham was, that the whole river bottom is just a graveyard. Yeah. It was just kind of creepy, dude.
Yep. Yeah, so, again, I to echo your points, I do love the noir feel to it. It's at some points, it reminds me of Batman the Animated Series, but it also has a different feel to it, right? Like it's... and I don't know if that's an up or down, but it's looking at it. Sometimes I think I'm watching the animated series, then I'm like, oh no, this is different. But I do like it, dude. I'm here for it. I can't wait to watch the rest of it. It's better than I expected, than I thought it was going to be based off of the early photos, to be honest.
Right. I didn't really have an expectation about it, other than seeing some of the stills, like the photos, like of Harley Quinn. I didn't even see a still of the Penguin, but I'm cool with her. Yeah. But it and I forgot where I was going. Anyway, come back.
They made Renee Montoya is kind of playing the Jim Gordon role almost. Like if you notice, Jim Gordon's already a commissioner, and he's kind of like on like the later end of his career. It feels like.
That's where I was going. So to me, this feels almost like the new Batman, like almost like his early years. Yeah, because he's not as. Remember in what's the movie that came out that we said that it was a Kingpin movie?
Oh, Echo, the show.
Echo, the show when because we also like the Daredevil series, right?
Yes,
but in Echo, Daredevil was like. This dude was just like amazing, man. Yeah. All of his moves were precise, and in this show, Batman isn't as precise. Right. So it feels like some early years to me.
It's definitely early years. I don't know. I've not read anything that said what, if he's year 2, 3, whatever, but it is early years. Because most of these characters he's seeing for the first time. Right. Did you see the Clayface?
Nope.
No. Okay. So you must have only just watched like the first episode and woke up in like the 7th.
Right. So I saw probably. Yeah. The only character I've seen was Echo. Penguin. Yeah. And I saw I think the next one where was Clayface, was it? Yep. He like stabbed the dude. Yeah. The actor. Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, so you see that. Yeah. Which I thought was a cool spin on Clayface. He's a character that
it's almost like Scarecrow.
He does look like Scarecrow. I thought it was Scarecrow at first, but then obviously when he starts transforming, you realize he's a character that in the comics he's done like over the top in the comics, like he's big and he's like clay melting. So I've always, always thought it would be hard to adapt that to live action. But the way they did it in this show, this animated series, I could see that working in live action. Because he's rumored to be in the next Batman movie, Clayface. Really? Yeah. Okay. Now, Matt Reeves also is, I don't know if he's a producer on, yeah, he is. He's a producer on this show. So I'm wondering if this is like a little test. Like, let's give you a different version of Clayface to see how it works here, and then maybe we'll bring it to screen in Batman too. So
maybe.
This is just giving you a little, behind the scenes, or at least what I think is happening. But yeah, it's definitely early. I don't know how early it is, but I mean, to your Alfred does look like he's been hitting up the Chicken and JoJo's a little too much. Right. We really maybe we get him like a cross trainer or something. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, it looks like he put on a little bit of weight.
Yeah,
and then there's an interesting take on Harley Quinn where she's not a psychiatrist in Arkham. She has nothing to do with the Joker so far. She's just a psychiatrist. Matter of fact, Bruce Wayne at one point, I don't know if did you see the episode where? No, this was the Catwoman one. Anyways, Bruce Wayne gets arrested for hitting someone, and then he has to go to some therapy. And Harleen Quinzel is his therapist. Okay. So she's introduced that way, not an Arkham psychiatrist, and she's friends with Barbara Gordon. So it's a whole different take on her, which honestly, kind of to your point of, I guess I understand that this is going to be a different version of Batman characters. So as long as I forget about where the characters came from, I don't mind these kind of retelling, re-envisioning. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the Harley Quinn episode was pretty cool. Okay. And when you finally got to see her, makes sense. So I'm here for it.
And I think what happens with that transition from what we're used to seeing with Batman is that noir 50s kind of feel to it. So yeah, I'm down with it.
Yeah, but I think that's probably one of my favorite things about it is the feel, the whole, just that broody. Like this is, this is how it's done right, Zack Snyder. You don't have to make it black and white. You just, you get the same effect here. So, anyways, you guys let us know how you feel about the show if you've checked it out yet. I'm gonna finish it up over this week, and then we'll come at you next week and kind of give you our thoughts on the whole show. Adrian, we like to send them off with a little agree to disagree.
Let's do it.
This is where we teach you guys how to properly disagree with someone and not get all in your feelings, okay? Because if I say something that you disagree with, it doesn't upset you, right?
No, not at all.
You don't not want to show up next week because Mike didn't. He says Batman's better than Iron Man. Fuck him. Like you're not thinking that, So this is a lesson to all y'all. This is an educational program.
There you go.
It's right up there with like Reading Rainbow. Remember that when you were a kid? Yeah, it's right up there with that almost, or like Sesame Street, kind of, but not really.
Not really.
No. So, anyways, you ready?
Let's go.
I'm gonna rapid fire. I got 8 this week of my opinions at you. I came up with these, some of them as we were talking, some of them last night, and some of them I'll come up with as I'm doing this segment. So,
and I am going to potentially
rapid
fire. Guess what? My opinion is back
there you go. And then the real fun starts when you all sound off in the comments and let us know how wrong we are and how that can't happen and whatever the other fucking shit you say. But you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Or as they say in the Deadpool, let's fucking go.
There you go.
Speaking of, Deadpool and Wolverine is better than Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Pretty much anything is better than that, but yes, I agree.
Yes, okay. X-Men 97 is better than Batman Caped Crusader.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. God Emperor Doom would solo the Justice League.
I agree, unless somebody put on a Reed Richards mask.
That's like saying Martha, right?
Right. Wait, what?
Yeah. Reed Richards, here's the keys to his house. Oh, shit. Tony Stark should not have been killed in Endgame.
Agree.
Marvel should retcon Smart Hulk and give us the Angry Green Giant again.
Give us all the Angry Hulks.
Yes.
Agree.
Like, dude, just wipe it out. You don't even have to explain it. This is one where I would just accept, like, he just shows up and that's it. Exactly. Don't even fucking explain it.
Exactly.
That's how bad Professor Smart, whatever the hell you want to call him.
And not Ruffalo.
No. No more director's cuts. Just make good movies the first time.
Or bad ones and just move on.
That's it. Yep, that's it. Deadpool and Wolverine is better than all of the past X-Men movies.
Agree.
Last but not least, Alfred would kick the shit out of Jarvis.
I agree.
Yeah, he would whip Jarvis's ass. Dude.
Wait a minute. So
the butler.
Well, again.
Not the AI.
So we're talking about Tony Stark's Jarvis.
Yes.
Not his father.
Oh, yeah,
Jarvis,
not his father. That's a good.
Who's also a butler.
Look at that. Yeah. See, dude, right now they're still sitting under Adrian's learning tree.
All right, there you go.
You know, You get a lot of bang for your buck here at Only Comics because it costs you nothing to tune in, but you get educated, you get entertained, you get to fact check some shit, you know, and you get to sit under Adrian's learning tree. So it's also known as Fun with Mike and Adrian.
Absolutely.
Because I gotta imagine if you've been with us for this whole show, you had fun, you know. And I think that's our goal, right? Sure. Like our goal's not to be 100% accurate. Right. Goal's not to be 100%
well,
right.
I don't know if our goal is to be not be 100%. It just doesn't work out.
It doesn't work. Yeah, we're not shooting for perfection here. Our goal is to have fun, and I think we accomplish that every week. Yeah, and y'all help out too. So it's like as much as I may. Now, here's the thing: you got to understand this. There's a lot of sarcasm here. Okay, so if you say something stupid to me in the comments and I jab you back, it's all fun and games. It's called a joke, right? Right. It's called a joke. So, anyways, we appreciate y'all checking in. Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Now, next week, so you'll be traveling next week. So
through the multiverse.
Through the multiverse. But good thing we have these things called cell phones and the interwebs and whatnot. So you will be
all
here.
those things.
Yeah, we'll have a hologram of Adrian sitting right there, potentially.
Or not.
Or not. We may just have him on Zoom. I don't know. You know, one or the other. But next Friday, I will be at the Terrificon here in Uncasville, Connecticut, Mohegan Sun. I'll be there filming some content. So, hey, if I'm going to have a bag of T-shirts, I promise you, if you walk up to me and you go, hey, I seen you on Only Comics, I'll give you a T-shirt. You want to do some trivia, I'll give you a T-shirt, depending on how many you get right. And I'm going to do some real-time, live, agree to disagree with people in attendance. So if you've seen the show and you're going to be there, man, come find me. We'll chop it up, have some fun. So, and then next year, Adrian will be, maybe we'll be at the San Diego one next year, Adrian.
We definitely need to, you know what? All it takes is some planning.
That's it.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen next year. I'll dress up as Deadpool. You dress up as Wolverine. What do you think?
No. I'll dress up as Adrian.
You're going to dress up as Adrian? Perfect. Love it. All right, cool. Well, Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely, man.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button if you've not already. Share this with your friends. Give it to your mom, your dad, whoever. I mean, it's a good way to end the summer, right?
Enemies.
Yes. Send it to your neighbors, too. You know, fuck it. Who cares? Anyways, appreciate y'all checking us out. You know where to find us every week right here on Only Comics. We'll see you next week.